Premier Dr. Yolanda Smith on Wednesday afternoon announced government's decision to lower the tax on goods imported into the territory, which in turn will reduce the cost of goods for sale to residents. The Premier said as of Tuesday, February 1st, duty will be levied on the freight on board and not on cost, insurance, and freight, as is the current practice. He said this new policy will help to ensure that the private sector becomes the main driver of the economy.
With effect from the 1st of February 2012, that is today, the policy of government with respect to goods being imported into the territory is that duty will be levied on freight on port costs and not on cost, insurance, and freight, as is the current practice. I spoke about this in my budget address, and my press conference this afternoon illustrates that with my government, a promise made is a promise kept. Ladies and gentlemen, the fundamentals of my government's approach to the economic recovery is that we minimize direct contributions into the economy by central government via transfers and direct participation, and instead provide an enabling environment so that the private sector, as a more efficient and responsive vehicle, can be the main driver for economic growth and development.
The Premier says the current high cost of living has resulted in some $40 million being spent outside of the BVI annually. He said if that money can remain in the local economy, it would mean that local businesses would hire more, turn over their products faster, and pay more taxes, which he termed a win-win for everyone.
People in this territory are subjected to very high prices, especially for food and household items, that cause them to experience hardships in meeting the needs of their families. These hardships have negatively impacted the quality of life that we are accustomed to in this territory, as more and more of our residents have difficulties with basic survival. I've heard the cries, ladies and gentlemen. I heard the complaints that prices fluctuate wildly on the supermarket shelves, and that we are spending more of our paychecks for food, clothing, and shelter. I know that is why an increasing number of you shop overseas and spend in excess of an estimated $40 million per year doing so. We need that money to stay in our economy, and we believe that if we were to become competitive in prices, a large portion of that money would indeed remain in the British Virgin Islands. If we keep that money in our economy, then our local businesses hire more, turn over their products faster, and yes, also pay more taxes. A win-win situation for everyone.
Premier Smith said with the lowering of duty on imported goods, it is expected that local businesses will pass on that savings onto the consumer, and the Ministry of Finance and National Business Bureau will review the initiative.
We expect that the savings to the local businesses will allow them to provide incentives and lower prices to the consumer. The $3.7 million in revenue foregone by the government of the Virgin Islands, we consider as an incentive to local businesses that should accrue benefits very soon. In an effort to facilitate the success of this initiative, there will be joint supervision by the Ministry of Finance and the National Business Bureau, and the combined effects of its existence reviewed during and at the end of the next 24 months.
According to the Premier, the recently established Small Business Bureau is in the process of setting up standards and developing relationships between the businesses and customers, which, in addition to the setting up of certain acts and laws regarding competition between providers, will act as a monitor to ensure that businesses pass on that savings to the consumer.